is a biblical principle. Are we together? I'm watching my time. Guys, you help me be the timekeeper. In an hour's time, is that okay? Let it be written, let it be done. So when you have a vision, when you have a goal, learn to write it down and see it. Put it down to pen and paper. If you're like me, I always have these little journals I carry. It's by my bedside. I have one in my office. I have one by my bedside. I always have 2 of them. The reason is simple. Particularly the way God deals with me. I'm doing my best not to make this a preaching session because I'm not preaching this morning in that context. But God deals with me. And when he drops ideas in my heart, guess what I do? I write it down. Mike Murdoch said, pen and paper does not forget. So I learned to pen it down immediately. There are times when I've woken up from sleep. I know there's something about the mornings. You wake up fresh. You wake up with ideas. Especially when you sleep well. That's why you should learn to sleep well. And the moment I just get up, the next thing I do, some ideas start coming to my heart. A lot of times when I'm praying, so I just write them down. Then in the course of the day, I go over them. Some might not be that day, maybe days later. But anything you write down, listen, there's something powerful. It comes to pass. There's something powerful about writing down your vision. So that's why I said, you write it down. Let it be written somewhere. Probably say, maybe you have goals for the year, right? You have goals for the year. Maybe you sell clothes or you do some form of business. You want to hit a particular target. You want to shatter a particular glass ceiling. If you don't write it down, it's most likely that you will not have it. So learn to write it down. And God sees the things that you write. So learn to write it down. Now, what I want to teach today is pretty simple, but a lot of people don't understand it. And that's about leadership development. Now, whose lives are changed in the process of achieving goals. You have 2 sales girls in your shop, and this year you want to hit a particular target. We want to sell goods worth, you said, 1 billion? Yeah, ₦1 billion. So you are recruiting all these people, working with them, the sales girl, the receptionist, everybody's involved in the process of getting to this 1 billion. Are you with me? It's possible to have the 1 billion, and at the end of the day, the person say, there's your 1 million, I'm resigning. That's not leadership. Leadership is at the end of the day. Are you with me? The person feels like I'm changed also. So leadership transforms people, hits targets. Now, John Maxwell said, if nobody is following you, you are taking a walk. One of the proofs of effective leadership is what? Is followership. The proof of influence is followership. Can I ask a question? Why do some of you are listening to me? Sure, it's because you believe there's something I can tell you. If there's nothing to tell you, why will you come and waste your time here? Okay, assumably, I don't think anybody is forced to be here. Because obviously some are not here. You get it now? So leadership is having what? Influence. Followership. It's not about position. Yes, leadership can bring you into a position. Are you getting me? A position can give you the responsibility of leadership, but it doesn't necessarily make you what? An effective leader. So if you've been coming for this, if you've been coming for Scepter, being in some of our leadership meetings, what we talk about is developing leadership. But wisdom, thank you. But wisdom brings what? Success. Other translation says wisdom is profitable to direct. So what is the sharpening of the axe? Is wisdom, skill. Intelligence. Knowing how to do it better. You agree with me? Some of those extremely bright students in school, sharpening an axe is work. But it's a better work. Sharpening an axe is a better work. Okay, not these days where we have filers everywhere, there's a machine. When I was in secondary school, did you go to a secondary school like the one I went to, where you cut grass? And, you have to sharpen. Sometimes we will look for anything that can sharpen a blunt machete. You have to rub it on the floor. If someone has a file, he was like king, So you collect from this guy, you collect from that guy. That's what we're doing. Until one day, I remember, we just discovered that we had a machine all along. And our principal was, sometimes people just like things being difficult. Labor prefects would tell us, sharpen it, and, sharpen. And then our principal, we had this introductory technology workshop then. And we had a machine that sharpens blades there. And he was wondering, all along he thought we were always using it. So he said, no, they should open it up for us to use. And some of those seniors were angry because they enjoy when we suffer to sharpen it, and then when we don't cut fast, they can flog us more. So, but see, that even if you have a machine, you need to go and stay there and make it sharp. Listen, what the Bible is saying is that what you are doing here, when you come for meetings like this, is because you want to use less strength. So don't ever make a mistake of sitting to learn. Don't interpret it as being lazy. This is work. Just like you're walking here now, not walking here. Read verse 16. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child, and your prince's feast in the morning. Verse 17. But blessed are you, O land, when your king is the son of nobles, and your prince's feast at the proper time. For strength and not for drunkenness. That means they are eating for strength. What I want to share quickly today. Now give me Matthew 25. I think that will be my last scripture for today. Well, the kingdom of heaven
is like a man traveling to a far country,
who called his own servant and delivered his goods to them. Continue.
And to one he gave 5 talents,
One he gave 5 talents,
to another 2,
another 2,
and to
another 1,
to each according to his own
to each according to his own abilities.
And immediately he went on a journey.
And immediately went on a journey. So listen now. The amount of influence heaven grants a man over people's lives is based on the person's ability. Now, that truth is parallel in everything. It has to do with finances, it has to do with leadership, it has to do with you. God will not entrust into your care what is beyond your what? Ability. But the interesting thing is that you can increase your ability. I'm not just here to read a manual to you. Thank God, those of you who paid for the materials, when you listen to all the things I'm saying, the materials will come alive. I gave you that material so that when you go back, you have lots of things to look at. So, but we'll do our best to touch everything. Pastor Ben, can you pass me the duster there? Now, thank you, sir. Now, I want you to see something. If you look at life, you will probably see something like this. I think I can draw well. Good. If this is ability, and this is influence, which accounts for success. Are you with me? Say successful, because leadership is not specific to one thing. They are leading leaders in every sphere. They can be a leading teacher, a leading businessman, a leading entrepreneur, a leading filmmaker, a leading quantity surveyor, a leading caterer, a leading cook, a leading chef, a leading farmer. So it's not about what you do. Now, all these people, I want you to follow. If you look at life, you discover that in everything in life, you will notice that only a few are up here. Many people do things, but very few are distinguished. If you say farmers, you can have many farmers here, but very few stand out. Are you with me? Very few stand out. And a lot of times, we now say that life is unfair. We say life is not balanced. Listen, nothing you do will make life balanced if people are not willing to balance what makes life to balance. Are you with me? So that idea that we are all the same is not true. We are all born with certain things, which I'm going to show you. But to say that we're all going to appear in the same place is wrong. I was in a school, and they said, in this school they give results, but they don't give positions. I said, why? They said, if they give positions, the ones who didn't pass will feel bad. I said, then why do the ones who work hard work hard? That's the wrong way to think. Why? Then why should we do what? Work hard if at the end of the day, we're all going to get the same thing. And you know that life is not like that. So I said, no, I don't support that. And if those of you are listening to me, if your child fails an exam, don't pay for the child to pass. Tell the child to sit up. Yes. Because this is what I want you to see. Do you know why very few are here? Because very few develop their what? Abilities. The less developed your abilities are, the reason you find many people here is because many people have this volume of ability. Not much. They're not willing to do much. Are you getting me? They're not willing. That's some of the things we're teaching here. They're not willing to go extra mile. They are comfortable. They are comfortable. Have you seen people who have had opportunities that others didn't have? And then sometimes you come and find them where they were. And you begin to ask, you mean this man was in London for 12 years? You've seen such people like that. So it's not necessarily even about the opportunities. I'm a pastor, so I might be telling you lots of stories along my field. A particular man of God went to see Bishop David Oyedepo. And while they were talking, he was talking about how he used to be in Kenneth Hagin's house. And they used to work in Kenneth. Bishop, you know what Bishop said? He said, you were in Kenneth Hagin's house. Why are you like this? What he was just saying is that, how can you spend that volume of time with him when all he did was have access only to his books? He said, why are you like this? So you see, two people can be in the same situation, but choose what they want to make of it. So what we're saying is this. Very few people have their abilities developed. That's why very few people are at the top. Now, let me tell you, there are three forms of development. In the order of the spiritual development, which I'll talk about in the night sessions. There's spiritual development. There is mental development. And there's what? Physical development. Now, they are all important. They're all important. If I'm not physically fit, I won't be able to do what I'm doing. But it doesn't pay much. Someone say, oh, but there are some footballers who earn a lot of money. That's physical development. Are you with me? Can I tell you the truth? Those footballers are paid peanuts compared to what the people who pay them get. The person who is doing the mind work, the mental work, pays more to the person who does the physical work. And when the Bible was saying to sharpen your axe, he was actually talking about wisdom in terms of your mental capacity. If you don't increase your mental capacity, you will need a lot of physical strength in life. And you will not go too far. But some, this is all they know. But there's another realm, which is a what? Spiritual what? Capacity. Whether good or bad. So you wonder why some people are professors, but they still find themselves in fraternities. Do you understand now? Because beyond mental ability, they are developing what? Spiritual ability. Because there's a spirituality to life and man. Do you all get the picture now? So people who know how to develop these three excel. Because the top is exclusive for those who are willing to develop their what? Their abilities. So what should you focus on? Abilities. Because the amount of people you can influence, your influence rises with your what? With your ability. Now, if you know John Maxwell, he has something he calls the law of the lead. What's the law of the lead? Here now. The law of the lead simply says that nobody can rise above their leadership what? Influence. All you can do is how much ability you have. And that as a leader, your leadership ability sets a what? A cap on how far an organization, a team, or a group of people can go. That means if you want your organization to grow, it's not by hiring people first. It's by you growing. Because no organization can be bigger than the owner. No matter how your dreams are, that's why I asked you to write your dreams. How big do you want those dreams? They can't be bigger than you. So, a lot of times, don't make the mistake of saying the organization has to grow. These people have to go. These things have to change. Is that first of all, you have to what? To change. You have to grow. Because if you don't grow, you will resize whatever was given to you to your level of leadership and ability. That's why people who win, who wants to be a millionaire, don't turn out to be billionaires necessarily. Because you can win something doesn't mean you are that thing. What happens to most of the people who win jackpots and lotteries and lotto? Some even get mad. Some it's true for some they don't even know how it came, you know. The only time you hear of them is when they won it. Let me digress. I was talking to someone, I said money is spiritual. Make no mistake. Sometimes you might be saying, I have billions, I have billions. If you don't have the capacity for it, they give it to you. If they give it to you, you will be surprised. You'll be surprised the forces that will be around you. I think you think nobody knows you. Let them put 2 billion naira, 1 billion naira in your account. You don't have to give a testimony. You'll be surprised how people just know. It's a spirit. People just start coming around you. It happens. So, if you want the organization to grow, you grow first. Is that okay? Because leadership is what? Is influence. Influence increases with abilities. So you increase your ability, your influence does what? Increases. So a lot of time, when I see people who are working in great influence, you know what I want to do? It's not the people who are there. I want to know what they know. What are their abilities? What are their competencies? Praise the Lord. So did we get it? Now, leadership is influence, and influence is different from fame. Don't confuse them. Yeah, Pastor Steve, well done. Don't confuse influence with what? With fame. You can be famous, but that doesn't necessarily mean what? You are influential. Are we together? And real leaders are influencers. So, I put some things here. That the amount of influence you have determines how well you lead people. If you can increase leadership and you'll be more effective. Now, a growing leader is a leader who is always seeking ways to do what? Increase influence. In my time of meeting with some very prominent leaders, you know what I've noticed? They're always growing.
Yeah.
They're always growing. You don't stop growing. They're always growing. They're always learning. So, what's the difference between influence and fame? Influence is having the ability to impact people's opinions. Are we together? Having the ability to impact people's what? Opinions, decisions, and actions. While fame is being widely known. It's being widely known. But influence impacts people. You can impact people's decisions. But you can be famous and have very little impact on people's decisions. So the ability to impact people's opinions, that's why some people are called influencers. If they wear a particular shoe. I read Malcolm Gladwell's book, Tipping Point. You know, Malcolm Gladwell talked about the hush puppy shoe there. You know, it was just some wild, crazy boys that, you know, the shoe was dying. The shoe was dying. The brand was dying, you know, and they had done basically everything to resuscitate it, so to say. And, you know, the brand wasn't just selling. And some boys who were popular in their neighborhood went and bought the hush puppy shoes. I don't even know the hush puppy shoes, you know. Google it. You know, hush puppy is not the guy they caught in Dubai. There's a shoe called the hush puppy shoe. You know, and those boys bought it, but because they had influence in the community. And these are the boys who are influencers. Every boy there wanted to just wear it because they were wearing it. And when they wore it out to some other places, some I think just caught fire. That's why when they say something goes viral, it's because that thing takes the pathway of a virus. There's a way the virus works. It's one person, corona, is one person that takes it, it sticks. It sticks. There's a pathway through which a virus works. It's by contact. So this person influences this person, that person influences this person, then before you know, you don't even know where it started. And then the brand just got back into the market, became another big thing in 1 year. So you will notice that people who sell products, are you with me, look for influencers. Because they can sway people's opinion. Not that they're just famous. Adolf Hitler, is he not famous? If you go and take a bag and label it Adolf Hitler, how many of you buy it? Do you understand me? He's famous, but he doesn't have influence. Are you with me? So what we're looking for is influence. Then, rather than just being known for something, are you with me? Rather than just being known for something, you should help impact people to do something. So you're not just known for something, you are impacting people to do things. This morning I was reading something, the early hours of this morning, I was reading something about why is his name jumping? The owner of Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson. You know, next week, this Sunday, they will be launching the first commercial chartered travel, Virgin Galacticos. And I'm going to be watching it. Yeah. But he's been talking about this thing for years. And the person who was actually advertising him is one of popular African entrepreneurs, Steve. And he was talking about the influence that Richard Branson has. He's a philanthropist, he's a serial entrepreneur, and the influence he has with people. And this is what got to me. He said a lot of people know him to be a famous person, but he's a kind-hearted person. Not just that, he has influence. During the last, I think it was 2 years ago, Zimbabwe had the flood issue. It was all over national media. He just called Steve and said, what can we do? How can we help people? We need to bring heavy helicopters. And he began to call some of his other friends around the world. Steve said to his shock, in 1 hour, there were helicopters everywhere helping people out in Zimbabwe. That's influence. In 1 hour, I said, wow. That is where you are coming to. It's not just about having money. No, there are people who have money, but they don't have what? Influence. Money can make you famous. Leadership gives you what? Influence. So if you have influence, are we together? If you have influence, you help people move from one point to another. But if you are famous, you only want other people to know you are making what? Moves. And it's not about other people knowing that you are making moves. Are you together? It's about you are moving people. And for sure, influence will always outlive what? Fame. Now, influence actually comes here now. Is somebody sleeping? Influence actually comes by adding value to people's lives. That is why the fastest way to success is helping other people succeed. Helping other people do what? Succeed in whatever you want to do. Because the more solutions you create, the greater value you produce. I always tell people that when it comes to wealth, when it comes to money, do you know why people are poor? It's not because there is no abundance. It's because they are self-centered. If you see past your need and you begin to think about others, you can't be poor. Because you will be creating value, creating solutions. Imagine you creating a solution that everybody can give you one naira. If you have a solution, if you have a solution that every Nigerian can give you 1 naira every day, they can't do without you. Well, how many million we are told? 200 million. If you have an idea, we're going to talk about innovations tomorrow. If you have an idea, if you have something that you create that is benefiting people and they cannot do without it, every day of their lives, they're giving you 1 naira every day. It might not look like much, but if 100 million people give you 1 naira, that's how much? That's 100. No, I'd say half of Nigeria, half. I don't, not everybody, half, just half. Are you getting me? No, we're just assuming that they just need one. You just need one of that product for 1 naira. Every 10 days, you'll be a billionaire. You're a very smart guy. You see now. So if you look at people who are wealthy, they are not looking for money. They are creating solutions. And they have what? Influence. And the way your mind works is that you can shift it from looking for money to creating solutions. Some people are just fixated on who will give me money. So they don't ever mentally exercise themselves to create what? Solutions. Is that okay? So influence is impact, and it starts with one person at a time. So the more solutions and value you can create for people, the faster and higher you rise in influence. Is that understood? You rise in influence. So now let's start hitting the nail on the head. There are 3 essentials of effective what? Leaders. Are you with me? And if you start exercising yourself in these 3 things, you will always be lucky. Because what people call luck, are you with me, is preparation. You know, before, I was talking to someone a few days ago. How many of you have ever won, if you've ever won any of these free bonanza things they do? Let me see if you ever won. Okay. You know, like free drink. Coca-Cola is always doing those stuff. Free generator. People just win generator. Free money. When our brother Teso won that 1 million, you know, I was with him and he was driving me to church and he was just sharing how he won ₦1 million. I was like, wow. before, people will share testimonies with me like, I have never had that experience. Never. Am I cursed? No. There was a time Coca-Cola was doing, if you open the cork, you pull it over, you will see a generator, you go and claim it. When I was much younger, they did one Omo promo. Then you just had to buy Omo, cut the top, write your name and address. 5 of it. Just a way of getting you to buy things. I was targeting everybody's this thing. 5. I sent over, and they'll tell you the more entries then Omo used to be in cartons. I'll go to our neighbor's house and pick. I never won anything. I've never won anything like that. Then Coca-Cola did one recently. Your name will appear on the bottle. I didn't even think about it. My name doesn't appear on such things. So long time ago, I took my mind off luck. I created my luck. Don't live your life to luck. Now, when preparation meets opportunities, success happens. So rather than waiting to be lucky, prepare yourself for the opportunities coming. You will create the luck for others. Are you following now?
Yes, sir.
So you must be prepared for the opportunities that you want to attract as a leader. And that's the purpose of this class. Now, I want to give you a small diagram. If you're at point A, now we're talking about you now, because I said it's as you grow that the organization grows, because your growth can stunt the growth of an organization. Just after this Euro, what did the Netherlands coach do? He resigned. He resigned. He was a great player. He did so well during the qualifiers, came to Euro. What was the target? The target at least was to go to semi-finals. But he just discovered that I have the boys. We couldn't make it past the second round. Are you with me? And the moment he lost that game, he didn't waste time. The following day, he resigned. A lot of people in Europe do that because they put the interest of the group and the people ahead of their personal ambition. Because what he just showed is that I couldn't do it. It doesn't mean he failed. It just means I need to improve myself. I need to go to some other place. I thought I could do this. That is why I'm a football enthusiast. That's why someone can leave a team. Another person will come and take that same team and win trophies. It's about their leadership abilities. Now you can also win trophies if you improve yourself. Now, England is at the finals. And maybe for once, my heart is just tilting towards them winning it. You know why? Because I just love that guy, Gary Southgate. How he has developed himself and he's showing on the team. There are bigger coaches that have come. But see, this quiet guy was somewhere, kept developing himself. See where he has taken the club to. In fact, each time they won a game, I said it's a miracle. And now they're in the finals. It's a miracle. What am I saying? If you improve, you help people more. If you improve, you help people more. And if you are an obstacle to a place, there are two things you can do. Either give another person an opportunity to help the group. That is being honest. And saying that, look, maybe I'm a limiting factor. That is not a popular mindset in Africa. In Africa, it's a lie. It is me, only me that can get it done. And I've been doing well in 50 years. We're the ones who praise ourselves. We tell ourselves, we've been doing well, so we're going to do well. No, but it's only a right mindset that if you seek the growth of a people more than your personal destiny, you can step aside, go improve yourself, develop yourself, and then come back to rise up to the opportunity when it avails itself again. And if you can't leave that place and you are here, then instead of killing the group, make a deliberate decision to improve yourself. That's what we're talking about today. So, if this is where you are now, at this level and you want to move to point B, maybe right now, where do you want to go to next? What level do you want to rise to in your career? Amen. Maybe like my wonderful officer here, Wando. Maybe she wants to be the head of the parastatal where she heads. Are you me? The truth is, it doesn't come by wishing. The opportunities are going to avail themselves, but you must be prepared for the kind of opportunities you want to attract. Because a lot of times when opportunities come, people are not competent. I was talking to someone, I said the issue in the country is that there are no jobs. He said, no, Pastor, there are jobs. There are no work, there are no people. I said, but there are graduates everywhere. He said, that's the issue. They are mundane. What they have is not relevant. There are jobs, but there are no people. He said, that's the reality of the Nigerian situation. It's not that there are no jobs. There are jobs everywhere. People are looking for people. But let me just tell you, that's why I'm passionate about what I'm teaching, especially in the Nigerian context, because just getting a degree is like a base level, but it doesn't necessarily equip you for the society we live in and the kind of world that we're living in. That's why I'm going to teach you about innovations tomorrow. Because if you are a guru in using animals to plow, and you enter into a society where there are tractors everywhere, what you should be studying is not how to ride a horse. It's how to drive a tractor. When times change and you don't have relevant skills, no matter how you are the best in that thing, nobody wants what they don't need. So when some of us say we read agricultural economics, and guess what? They are still teaching us a chemical that they've banned. When we're doing food preservation, we're told about a particular abscisic acid, that's used to preserve fruits and all that, so that they have a longer shelf life. Just for me to discover that while we were in school, it had been banned before I got admission to the school. They banned it before I got admission into the school. So by the time you take that result, and you're saying someone should give you a job, nobody wants to kill people. It doesn't mean you're not knowledgeable. It just means that the skills are not important. They are not relevant now. So desiring a position doesn't give you a position. It's being prepared for the position that gives the position. And those of you who are believers, this is scripturally true. Because Esther, we always talk about Esther spending one night with the king and becoming the queen. But the preparation was for 6 months. She was prepared like all the other ladies were prepared. Then favor gave her the place. So favor is not the absence of preparation. So when we say the favor of God, the favor of God, the favor of God, the favor of God, don't get it wrong. The favor of God, are you getting me? Be prepared also. And favor will make room for you where you are all equals. So, to increase your leadership ability, are you getting me? And lead more people from where they presently are to where they need to be, there are 3 things you need to develop. There are 3 essentials. Is that okay? And that's what we're looking at. Time, value, skill. Did you see that? You have time, value, what? Skill. Those of you who have interest in politics, do you know why a lot of our politicians mean well but don't do well? I don't think every politician is corrupt. No. And I don't think many of them plan to be corrupt. There are some well-meaning people, you sit with them, you talk with them, when they get into the office. Because we make this assumption that desire equals ability. That you desire something does not mean you're able to do it. My son, Justin, desires to drive. Every time we're in the car, he wants to sit in front, he wants to engage the gear. But it doesn't mean he's able to. So you see people who say, okay, I'm retiring from so-and-so and I'm going into active what? Politics. You discover that from that time they retired or the time they left, what skill have they what? Acquired? What values have they cultivated? What have they done with their what? Their time. All they just want is power. Then you get the power, then you don't know what to do. So you must use time, you must cultivate what? Values. You must develop what? Skills. So let's talk about time. Benjamin Franklin said this, he so blessed me. He said, if you love life, don't squander time. Invest it because that's what life is made up of. Life is made up of what? Time. Are we together? So you can ask yourself, what are you worth per hour? What are you worth per hour? What have you done with your time? What are you worth per hour? In 2018, Mark Zuckerberg, are you getting me? Earned roughly $1.7 million an hour. That's like 3 state budgets, some state budgets, are you getting me? Of some countries, like the ones up there. What are you worth? As at last week, Jeff Bezos is worth $4.1 million per hour. Someone says blood money. No, you see, I want you to remove those mindset. That's how we quickly dismiss things. Now, where you are right now, how much are you currently worth? Time is a resource given to everybody. Nobody has more time than the other. If you don't squander time and you use it, you will have a life. Those who invest into time make the headlines. You find them in the news. You said, since I graduated, there's no job. What have you been doing with your what? Time. Looking for a job is not using time. It is wasting time. What did you do with time? You have to use time, not waste it. Let me talk to you. Joseph was, what would we call Joseph in modern day? Let's try to bring him into the modern day scenario. I'll call him someone who interprets your visions. Someone like what Pastor Dio does. Are you getting me? You have an idea, they help you package it, they help you put it together. It's like a consultant or something. That's what he was doing. You have a dream, you bring it to him, he will help you package it, he will help you arrange it. Do you know when he started out, he wasn't good. At the age of 17, he wasn't doing well. You know, there's a way to tell your elder brothers your dream. Some things we suffer is just ignorance. He just walked to his brothers and just said, I had a dream, all of you were buying to me. No. But in that dream, Judah was the lion. If you had come down to say, I had a dream, this is what I saw, and I saw you also, you were the lion, but my time came first. But it was to prepare the way for you. This is your place. And I said, this boy has some sense. Of course, someone will still hate. But I want you to notice, by the time he went to the dungeon, he had improved. He was not just having dreams. He was now explaining dreams. I'm sure if he had that first time, he just dreamt, got up from the bed. I have a dream. Martin Luther. By the time he got to the dungeon, he now discovered that if you have a dream, you now have to calm down and think it through. So when they told him the dream, he said, this is what I saw. And what did he see? You were reinstated. You were killed. He would have been able to save that guy if he pressed further. I'm sure when the guy asked him, he didn't know how to profess solutions. He could just tell what was going to be. He said, you are dying. The guy said, is that all? He said, that's all, you are dying. But by the time he was meeting Pharaoh, he was developed. Pharaoh didn't ask him for solution. Pharaoh was asking him for the dream. He was the one who went further and said, "And oh king, this is what you should do." Is the solution that put him on the throne. You know what? He was prepared for the opportunities that came his way. Are you getting me? He used his time. In 13 years, what have you become? Is he just older? I tell people, travel, interact, make your time count every day. Learn something. Use your what? Use time. Extraordinary men and women invest extraordinary time into what they do. That's what distinguishes two people. I was talking with Wifi yesterday when we were leaving here. I said, "Are you learning anything?" Yes, sir. And we're talking. One of the things the Jews believe is that your past does not determine your future. And it's only animals that cannot change. Transformation is what makes us human. That a human being can stand up today and say, by the end of next year, I'll be a degree holder, and you have a degree. A dog can't do that. Have you ever seen a dog say, I want to go to school? No. Animals don't transform. They don't reinvent themselves. You can reinvent yourself. You have the power. It is given, it is inborn. And what you do is you use time. That people see you and they can tell that you have changed. Somebody was talking to me about it. He said, I used to know this girl, but look at where she is now. And this is an interesting thing. She wasn't one of the high flyers in school. So your position in school doesn't determine your life. It's what you do after that, what you do with your time speaks. That's why these days people don't really care whether you have a first class. It's good, but you have to prove it. That means there must be commensurate value coming from that word, first class. Did we get that?
Yes, sir.
Did anybody get that? What are you doing with your time? You say you want to be, God has called you into politics. You've not read the biography of any politician. This is 8 years that you've been chasing. You've been chasing House of Rep. This is 8 years that you've been chasing it. What have you done with time in this period? Is every 4 years you become relevant? Every 4 years you now look for people who campaign, who will help you? No. It's that you need to keep evolving. You need to keep improving yourself. Use time. You know one thing, God is so generous, He has given everybody time. I read every day. I read every day. I don't allow a day pass me by, without adding to knowledge. The reason I'm saying this is because there is a connection between mental wealth and physical wealth. So to be successful, you have to first of all be successful mentally. And reading is not a talent. It's an exercise. Some say, I don't have the talent to read. There is nobody that was born with the talent to read. You exercise yourself. And one thing I discovered is that the same way you exercise your muscles and over a period of time, I mean, I used to be bigger than this. Okay, if you think I'm big, I used to be bigger than that. I was big. I was doing well. And then, of course, different things happened. I lost weight. And I wasn't going to go back. But I now needed to work out my muscles because I had to exercise. Do you know the first day, I got a personal coach, a trainer, and I was paying him. He's a pastor. That they just say, look, Pastor, we don't have to do anything hard. It's just the consistency. Sometimes when you start working out, you want the muscles out in 2 months. I said, no, we're going to take this thing gradually. So he said, let's just do this. Just brought some very simple. I was just getting angry. I said, is this what I paid for? Is this what I'm paying for? That when I woke up the following day, I knew I was paying for something. He now called that he's coming. I said, don't come today. I said, please don't come today. I just got those muscles have been flat for years. They've not been exercised. I wasn't sick. They were only waking up. So sometimes pain, inconvenience is proof of growth. It's proof of development. The moment you make up your mind to grow and develop, are you getting me? And it's like you discover that you will not be having time as much as you used to have. Life is not about eating, pooing, and sleeping. Number 2, values. For the place you want to go, we'll talk about culture later today. For the place you want to go, what are the values necessary for that place? Values are like internal structures that uphold buildings. If you look at this mall, Silverbed, do you see metals? I don't know if you can see metals. But if is metal, this building is basically metals, not the concrete we see. These structures. Because embedded in the columns are giant what? Metals. Pastor Bemi is an engineer, so he has an idea of what I'm saying. At least this is his area. It might not be his specialization, but it's his area. But there are lots of metals. You don't see them, but that's why it's holding this. If you don't bring the requisite metals here, you can still build this, but you'll make the headlines. Building collapse. Are you mean? Now, every building that must go very high must first of all go very deep. That's how values are. The reason people collapse at the presence of small opportunities is because they didn't develop what? Value. They don't have values. What stopped Joseph from sleeping with Potiphar's wife? It's not the fear of being caught. It's value. Where he's going. It's necessary for where he's going. You must have values that define where you're going to. Is somebody following? That's why that coach resigned. It's not, his value is not, you don't fail in something and then try to. Sometimes I wonder how something is blue. Somebody say, no, it's white. We say, no, but it's blue. They say, you can't see well. It's white. Something is not working. It's not working. Somebody say, Pastor Arome, which party are you voting for in Nigeria? I say, none. I'm looking for somebody who has what? Values. In United States, the voters, you see, the value system of a people determine their culture. We'll talk about that later. Why do you think they don't play with marriages? Politicians don't play with marriages, even when they don't love their wives. They need it to win. Because the people feel that if you cannot manage a wife, you can't manage a state. So you can see them fight in the limousine and just come out smiling. It's an appearance. It's a value that the society upholds. And in Africa, let me say something, we really need a value change shift for the place we want to go. Because it's not enough to desire a position without the requisite what? Values. So if they ask you, you should be able to say, what are my values? If you find nothing wrong with stealing, how won't there be corruption? Because in your value chain, there's nothing wrong with it. I had some Nigerians put money together to go and buy Arsenal, the football club. They said, whose name should they use? They said they don't know. Because they have the money, but they cannot say how they got the money. But maybe to say some of these Jeff Bezos we are hearing of, they are not the richest people. Some of the richest people in this world, they are here in Abuja. They are here in Abuja. They are here in Abuja. You see them. Maybe I'm even living next to them. They are not the richest per se, but you can't prove it. I'm not saying that every money you have is what you worked for, but look, favor is a value system. Even when you say God favored someone and brought money into his hands, are you getting me? Favor has a value system. Wait. The wealth of Israel, the wealth of Egypt that God gave to Israel, was it not Israel gave? Did he give it to the Edomites? There's a value system for wealth. And let me shock you. Blood has a value and a purpose. So develop your what? Your values. Now let's see some questions you need to ask yourself. For example, if you find yourself in a situation, how do you test your values? Maybe someone said or did something that you strongly disagreed with, but you didn't speak up about it, and you felt ashamed afterward. Let me say, have you been there? You were in a place, they just said something, you didn't agree with it, but you didn't speak up. You just kept quiet. It just shows that you are weak on your value. Values are convictions. Another situation is you set goals for yourself and then fail to meet them. Do you set goals for yourself? You didn't meet them and you say, well, no problem, it's okay. Some of you are realizing, right? You say, I'm going to do this before the end of today. You didn't do it. You say, well, no problem. No problem. I will do it again tomorrow. You didn't do it. That means you have a building, but there are no structures. You know, when I started jogging, jogging is not the same thing as exercising. They're two different things. It doesn't really work all the parts of the body. When I started jogging, I'm not quick to put in things on Facebook. If you notice, I'm not quick. It's when I have mastered something, I don't put it on Facebook. Because some people just go and write. I know one friend of mine who went to US and hit the gym, took pictures and was everywhere on the internet. He was even quoting scripture, laying aside every weight. As he returned to Nigeria, that was the end. That was the end. So somebody asked, you know how Facebook will pop up old pictures. He was tagged, he attacked someone, I think something. So somebody now asked him that, sir, what happened after this? No, I know myself, I put up a consistency before I bring it up. So I know nobody start asking. It's not a show. I still jog, I still run. But the first time I started jogging, because I wasn't putting it up, I was jogging up that hill. Every day I'm leaving the house, I tell myself how many times I plan to go up. It's only once I gave up. And that day was my cheat day. Because it started, it just started drizzling. I said, oh, it's raining. That's why I entered my car. Nobody was there. Not like anybody was marking me. I'm marking myself. Because primarily in life, you first of all compete with yourself to win with others. You compete with yourself to win others. So at first, you see some athletes, they start out trying to win others. Then at a point in time, there's nobody to win. They now start breaking records. When people are breaking records, they're actually competing with themselves. So you made 100 meters in 9 seconds. Now you want to make it in 7 seconds. But that's interesting. I tried to run 100 meters. I think it took me close to 20-something seconds. It's not as simple as it looks. You know when you hear 9 seconds, 100 meters dash, it's truly a dash. Let me tell you guys the day I started running. My daughter Yana outran me one day. I said, this is not good. This is not good. Because she said, Daddy, you are too fat. I'm going to outrun you. I said, let's go. Sometimes something told me that she won't win. That's the day I discovered that you need values. Let me explain. This might be funny. I'll soon round up for this session. I discovered that I was desiring to be ahead of her. My whole mind, I was ahead of her. Are you with me? I was ahead of her. You know when the Bible says the spirit is willing? My body just said, I won't go more than this. When I tell myself I want to do something, I stay faithful to do it. It is cultivated over time. You know why I'm talking about value systems? Because it's not about race. That's the same way when I come to the office, I have to sit down and finish the work I have to do. Because it's a virtue. There's something known as grits. You know what grits, right? Grits. Your ability to stay with something until you finish it. Stamina. Most competent CEOs, are you getting me, are heavily involved in sports. How many of you follow Tony Lumelu? I think he's 54 or so. But do you see his regimentation? He's feeding. I study success. I look at people who his value system. The other day he was doing some exercise. I said, what? At 50-something. No, I'm not saying that you must exercise. But I'm saying that the values necessary to take you where you are going, you need to start cultivating them now. For you, faithfulness might not be one. Maybe love. But if you want to win Olympics, maybe you're an athlete. I mean, one of your value systems should be endurance. Should be faithfulness. And all I was just trying to get across to you is that most outstanding CEOs, you know what other things you notice with them? They are people who have grits. They stay. It's called staying power. I was talking about one of our brothers the other day. He's even here. And I was telling somebody, I said, look, I study people. I said, when he wants to do something, he stays with it till he gets it done. Those are the abilities that heaven sees, that he puts things in people's hands. It's not desiring things, it's developing your ability. Heaven is not stingy. Life is not stingy. But life is only fair. Remember the triangle. So to move from point A, you develop what? Value. That's why I read that scripture. Woe to that city whose king is what? Is a child. What do they start doing in the morning? In the morning, somebody is drunk. It's his value system. In the morning, he is what? Drunk. It's a value system. Hard work is a value that everybody should cultivate. Every lazy person thinks that hardworking people are wicked. If you say something should be done on time, they say it's too wicked, it's too harsh, it's too difficult. But there are people who rise up to it. For the kind of life I want to live, if you live with me, there's a time my door closes. Those who live with me, they know. Even my father. 7 o'clock, my door is locked. So if you are the type that likes to be out, some people have nightlife. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, once in a while I go out with people in the night. It's beautiful because the world is deceptive at night. The lights come on. Everything everywhere looks fine at night. It's in the daytime. The Bible says the day reveals all things. I remember the first time I was flying Ethiopian Airways, and I was with Rev. So we're descending to Addis. That was about 4, 5 p.m. here. It was about 9 p.m. there. 10, 11 there in Addis. From up, it looked so beautiful. I was like, wow! Rev could see in my eyes that I was wowed. I just kept saying, wow, this place is beautiful. He just tapped me. He just said, in the morning you'll see the truth. He said, in the morning you'll see the truth. Truly, when I woke up in the morning, I said, this is where we passed. Old town. Some of those cars we used to see in James Bond movies. In 1978, they still drive them in Addis. You think people drive anyhow in Nigeria? Go to Addis. How they don't have accidents is something to be studied. Honestly. Vroom, vroom, vroom in the morning. And everybody runs in Addis. In the morning, you see, it's like even old women run. Everybody runs. I said, no wonder. You can quickly just explain it on altitude. Well, what are you doing with your own topography? Say it's because they are up there. So it's easier. No. They run. You see everybody running. You see, what's the name of that? Their famous marathon. It's like this place here. Everything I'm saying. The name of that, the slim guy that wins the marathon. Selassie. Gabriel Selassie. His picture, they have a big picture of him at the airport. That's their national pride. Are you getting me? Not oil, nothing. They have a big picture of him at the airport. But see, he can tell you the people's value, tenacity. They stay. A poor country like Ethiopia started with a few aircrafts. Right now, they have one of the best airlines in Africa. And what they've done is to create a terminal. They've brought the whole world through their planes to Addis. They just built a 3,000 capacity hotel right next to the airport. Why? Because the whole world literally converges there. You come there, they've created a hub. Chinese, Jukuns. Are you getting me? Mongolians, everybody meets there. But see, I was the first time I flew the aircraft, I was reading through the in-flight magazine that they had, and their CEO was talking about the vision going forward. That was about 6 years ago. And I was reading it, and they're already there. He put it on paper. This is their vision. Their vision is to be Africa's premier air carrier. They keep increasing their fleets. Started out like joke, flying everywhere. You can go anywhere now with Ethiopian Airways. Anywhere in the world. 5 years ago I was reading it. They are one of the few aircrafts in Africa that are part of the Star Alliance. Tenacity. We don't have oil, we don't have anything, but we have what? Virtue. We are determined. And that's what he was saying in that article, that we are determined to get there, and we will get there. So there is no way you not have a connecting flight. And you must, so they force you, if you must travel, you must sleep in the hotel. It's inside the money you are paying for the flight. Virtue. They cultivated it. They know where they want to go, and they know that to get there. If you read from Third World to First World, what did Kuan Yu, what did he do? He said, look, we must set a rule. Are you getting me? We must set a rule. We must come to a place where we hold ourselves accountable, because without a rule of law, a society cannot thrive. Then this is where we are going to go. Do you know, Ethiopia was, Singapore was a country people used to run away from. People used to be ashamed to say, I'm from Singapore. They were as poor as their name, Singapore. They were poor. Sing, oh, poor. Are you with me? An island. Benue is bigger than Singapore. It was so bad that if you do you know right now, it's one of the wealthiest hubs in the world. Singapore is one of the most visited places. People want to go there. It's evolving so fast. People are sand filling places to build houses. In Singapore, you import sand from Malaysia to find space. People buy water space in Singapore. What are we talking about? Value. That is the internal. Those are the internal forces that takes you where you want to go. And see, when you use your time well, you develop your values, you will see that opportunities have been waiting for you. But if a nation, the people will wake up in the morning to drink, not drinking for strength. I heard there are some of our senators that even come to the chambers tired. Some from where? From dancing in the night. The state where I used to be, I heard there's a particular governor that used to come to one lowly hotel there. Not because he's humble. Coming to watch Kpingi. You know what Kpingi is? If you're from Benin, you know what I mean? Just come there. And you read a manifesto. Manifestos don't change societies. So it's not enough to be a king. Kingship gives you positional leadership. Are you with me? Develop what? Values. Do you value people? Another question you can ask yourself is, your life or career haven't worked out the way you wanted it to. Are you getting me? Or what you want often clashes with what you've got to do. And you don't know what's practical. Are you getting me? Or you're so busy pleasing other people that you're not even sure what your own values are. Like I make fun of people. Some people, anytime you meet them, they have time for anything. They've never said no to anybody. I'm wary of people who don't say no. No, let me be honest. If you can't say, oh, never in your life have you ever said, but I would love to attend to this. It's not because you have time. You have time for everything. There was a time a prominent person was going to take me to a place. You know, this is someone I admire, I respect a lot. And there was this opportunity. And I had to be in church for a particular meeting. That meeting is not Faith Adventure. So he calls me and says, Pastor Arome, this is what we need to do. This is where I'm going. I would like you to tag along. But take your time. If you don't want to, feel free. Of course, there's some people I can't tell no. You know what I mean by no? When I say can't tell no, I'm not saying after this service. I say, can you bring the lights? And I say no. don't get me wrong. Or I say, can we go out for evangelism? No. That's not what I mean by value. Because some people hear upside down, concave. Anyway. So he asked me. And he said, well, he just turned and said, but take your time. I said, wow. So I thought of it. I said, man, this is like a golden opportunity. But my values help me make the right choices. I said, sir. So he called back the following day. He said, so are we good? I said, I would have loved to follow you, sir. But I have a meeting tomorrow. Why? That meeting with church is going to be of greater value, considering where we are going as a ministry, than me spending one night in one luxury hotel. Are you with me? And all I get to do is to eat some nice food. I'm not even the one they call to minister. They invited someone, I'm just escorting. You know, when I slept that day, I was proud of myself. So values necessarily have nothing to do with whether it's right or wrong. It only has to do with where you are going. So it's not about whether this thing is right or is wrong. It's about where you want to go. Then the third one before we leave, skill. Let me say this, then we close. Wow. Skill. Skill is the ability and capacity acquired through, notice now, acquired through deliberate, systematic, and sustained effort. Notice the word, What is skill? Ability or what? That is what? Acquired, not dashed. Through what? Deliberate, systematic, and sustained what? Effort. To smoothly and adaptively carry out what? Complex activities. Why do you require skills? Because you are handling what? Complex, what am I writing? Activities. Are you with me? Not tough activities. Not tough activities. What? Complex activities. Because when you solve complex problems, do you hear me pray during Incense on Fire? I have the wisdom and the ability of God. I'm providing answers to the complex problems of this world. Because complex problems pay higher value. Pushing a truck is hard work. I don't even know truck pushers, wheelbarrow pushers. Is it not hard work? Do you require too much skill? Why? Hard work is not necessarily what? Complex work. But if they say, come and run Silverbird. Okay, let me ask you. Running, maintaining Silverbird and pushing trucks. Which one is easier? It's easier. Which one is harder? It's harder. It's harder. Which one drains you more physically? Which one drains you more mentally? Which one can kill you faster? No. It's maintaining Silverbird. Because mental drain. See, that's why people don't understand. They see somebody in the office say, we are here doing all the job. You are sitting in the office, just turning around. See, the work of an architect is harder than that of a builder. The architect gets it wrong. You need 6-7 years to be certified a master's degree holder in architecture. You don't need that to start building. You follow your uncle 2-3 times. After 6 months, you say, put block here, put block. He gives you this. You don't need to do much. You don't need too much skill. Before you know what, here, pop, pop. You do the harder work. That's why we think that physical work is harder. Do you listen as I close? As I close for this session. Anytime I go to Europe, you know the things I think? I say, Kai, when you think, you will rest. When you don't think, you will work hard. And you will suffer more. And die faster. Do you know the white man takes time to research everything, even food? Here we just eat. We just eat. We just. But you go there. So I was telling my wife, I said, look, what I'm thinking is, how do they think? It's how they think. And what I know is a mental thing is, you see how we load our bags here at the airport, unwilling to wait. Everybody's rushing. It's a mindset thing. You know when we get to Heathrow, and they arrange all of us in one line. That's why I say everybody humbly. We don't even complain. We don't even fight. We'll be gisting on the line. The same people here. When you come into a different mindset, you behave differently. But you see, skill acquisition is developing mental prowess. To be able to do what you do easily. Did you get me? to be able to break down complex problems. I have a guy that used to work with us in the church office in Boko. He told me how he worked with a construction firm headed by a white guy. He said, and their work was just to load this. Guess what they were paying him for? Is take this machine, drive it here, like a payloader, they load this thing into it. He drives it back. The man traveled, handed over to a Nigerian in his absence. He traveled for 3 days. The Nigerian didn't want to buy the diesel for the machine. Now told all of them that they shouldn't think that YSS give them anything. They should carry their pan on their head. Pan. That's why the man got pans and gave them. So the German came back a day earlier and saw them carrying pans. He said, why are you carrying the pans? You don't need the pans. There is a loader. Use the loader. You make it very simple. I don't want any case. Because if your laborers live longer, they will do more work for you. So ease is for longevity. That's why they specialize on skill acquisition. And because of that, see, Europe, I think in India or China has one of the current highest literacy levels. In China, if you are not educated, you finished the equivalent of secondary school. That is, you are not educated. If they don't take you there, that means if you say somebody is not educated in China, he has the equivalent of secondary school. That means an illiterate. So they're willing to invest money into human capital development for skill acquisition. UNESCO, United Nations said, I think 22%. Those of you who want to enter into government, what's the percentage of a budget that should go to education? Minimum 20, right? That means 20% of every budget should go to education. That's the minimum. That's the least. Countries do 40-something%. There are countries that do 30-something%. Nigeria does 7%. They do 7%. And even at this 7%, when professors go on strike, we're angry why they are going on strike. Why wouldn't they teach you about abscisic acid? Are you with me? So, no, but it's the truth. Now, what are the components of skill acquisition? Never forget this. It's not difficult to be unskillful. Component of skill. When we come back and we are doing the second part, that's when we're going to talk about personal development. Because I'm just opening on when we go and have the tea lunch and we come back, the tea break, then we'll talk about, after the break, is that okay? We'll talk about personal development. Now, look at this. Vision, energized people, communication, branding, and then what? It is said, are you with me, that if you see a leader, what makes him, 35% of what makes him is the vision. Shima Phillips is here. Are you getting me? It's not about what you're doing. You should be able to say, this is my what? Vision. Your vision is at the core. You know why? It never changes. You can't have two visions in one lifetime. You will not see any outstanding leader who has two things he's pursuing because your eyes are designed to see one thing. The day you start seeing two things, either you are seeing into the realm of the spirit or there's something wrong with your what? Your vision. Vision is life. So you must invest into your what? into your vision, into having a clear vision. Because what makes you a leader is your ability to see. What do you see? Invest into it. Now, when I talk about vision, I'm talking about your vision statement, but I'm also talking about your ability to do what? To see. If you have to travel, travel. If you have to go to some places, go. Read through scriptures constantly. God is stretching people's what? Vision. Vision is key. 35% of you, to succeed as a leader, you get me? You have to see some things you don't know because you have never seen it. Somebody said when his father, is it his father or his father-in-law, came to see him in the US, or one of his friends, I know, but I don't know. He was an older man they took to US. When he came to US, he had spent about 2 weeks in US. So one day they stood by a seaport and the man was just lost in thought. So they asked him, Baba, any problem? He said, we are suffering in life, but we don't know. He said, back at home, we are suffering, but we don't know. Because there's a conditioning. That after you can be in a place, after a while, you don't even know there's something wrong. Yeah. And you can't lead people to a place you can't see. Investing into your vision is not a waste of time. You can't lead people to a place you can't see. Vision. You have to get into environments where you constantly enlarge your what? Your vision, your capacity. When we had Faith Adventure one year and the place was I was just so happy. Then I was opportune to go for some meetings. This year I'm going for Shiloh. And someone said, why? I said, yes, I'm going to hear the word. Watching on television is the same thing. I want to go there and feel the energy there of people. People. Some people say, there are too many people there, I don't want to go. Go. I told one pastor once, I said, just book a flight. Go to Lagos. You don't need to know anybody. I can help you book a hotel online. Go to Abuja. He said, I don't come to Abuja too much. Me, I stay in my place of assignment. I said, don't stay in your place of assignment. Go to a place that's not your place of assignment. Increase your vision because you can't lead people to a place you can't see. I told him, I said, I'm not joking. Come and visit me. I'll put you in a hotel. Because you will not know you are suffering. Have you ever been in a place? See that place we go to visit ourselves. It's not very palatable. It's not a very nice place. And I see those guys sitting there. And I wonder how they stay there. The truth is that they don't smell what you smell. Because when you stay in a place over a period of time, it's normal. Do you know how people stay in a dirty house and when you come there and say, what's smelling? Like, what is smelling? Nothing's smelling. Something's wrong with your nose. That's the same way it is with vision. You don't exercise it, you don't see. It forms 35% of your life, of your leadership abilities, form 35% of it. So invest into it. Are you getting me? Go to a place where you can see. Number 2 is energized people. Because nobody goes to any place alone. See, any business you're doing that you have not started thinking about people. Tomorrow, let me go ahead and tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about system building and how to innovate as a team. Because some of you say, I don't know why I'm hammering on politicians today. You're a politician and you don't have people. How do you want to win the election? Even to rig, you need people who help you to rig. So you say you have a business you're doing. And from day one, you've not started thinking about the people that will come. Because the people you have around you, you're a sum total of the 5 people in your inner circle. So you need to start getting the right people. Don't recruit monkeys. Don't pay peanuts or you attract monkeys. Recruit the best. If somebody is good, don't say you are too expensive. Cheap is expensive. You need to have energized people. You need to learn how to talk to people, how to relate with people, because you can't do it without people. Then number 3, communication. That takes what? 19%. Communication. And what's communication? We're not talking about how you people talk in the office. By communication, we're talking about how people perceive you outside. What are you communicating? This is where you are known for something. What are you known for? Are you with me? You need to get the skills now. On your way from point A to where? To B. It's not when you come here that you start developing it. It's what you are doing now that will bring you here. We talk about love, excellence. When somebody walked into the office the other day, we've not finished our work here in Abuja office. And the person walked here and said, wow, Pastor Arome, I like this place. I said, thank you. So an older man, in fact, the man who gave us this place, it's an older man, he's high up there. When he was talking, he said, when I see somebody who is going somewhere, I can tell. And the truth is that we are going somewhere. We're going somewhere. Do you know there's no way you will meet us like this next year? No, it's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. But we have to communicate what people see. Some of you, you need to dress the part sometimes. Look the part. Don't be like an Old Testament prophet. Then branding is what? 8%. You see, but do you know where people accrue a lot of money to? See, branding is like, if you don't develop this 1, 2, 3, and you brand, it's like bandaging a wound. When they open it, you know how people clad old houses these days? A house is collapsing. Instead of fixing the house, they go and buy aluminium composite steel. Are you with me? You come and just make it look very nice. When you pass by, you say, wow, this house has changed. Nothing has changed. I was telling somebody, thank God for the likes of Pastor Dio. Awesome. He's helping us do our communication, this thing. We've been in this town all these years. You've not been seeing our billboards, right? Don't worry. He's working on it. The reason is simple. I didn't want to invite people to come and see what they don't want to see. Because the greatest thing that helps with your advert is your product. Have you ever been to a restaurant that was very nice? The AC was perfect until the main component was served, the food. See, they cheated me. You felt like asking for your money back. And then, of course, the last one is what? Professionalism. The professional atmosphere you create. It's 5%. If professionalism is too much sometimes, it can frustrate the what? The process. So you need to invest into all this. So let me talk to all our, thank God I have some of my political juggernauts here. Are you with me? You know what? Increase your vision. Travel to some places. Go somewhere. Go see things. Someone say, but all these people have been traveling, they don't say anything. You are different. It's not them. That's why I say you can see things, but if your values are not in place. So all these three work together. Get people around you. Start building networks. Start learning to talk to people. Especially when you are a politician, you have to be very nice. You need to be nice to some people because one rotten testimony can ruin your whole plan. I say, that man, we're talking about someone the other day, and they say he's nice, it's just that people don't know. I say it's not us that are supposed to know. It's the people that are supposed to know. Somebody was talking to me, say the guy is nice, it's just that people don't know. How will they know? 3, communication. Project. They should see your values in the things you do. Then they can vouch for you. Thank you very much. Amen. We'll be back in an hour. Thank you. Did you learn anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 30. When I know our time is scattered, so I don't know which is which now. Okay, we'll be back in 30 minutes. Yeah, it's in 30 minutes. Tea will be served outside. Thank you for coming. Those of you who will be on a break, thank you. It's almost lunch now. But